Hey there, YouTubers. All right, so in this video, we're going to take a look at whether GPU prices really have started to drop. Now, basically, there's been a lot of hype out there that it's happening, a lot of talk about, the Chinese cracking down on people that are doing crypto mining. And let's see, European prices supposedly are down. So let's see if we can find out any good info based on, just a couple weeks ago, pretty familiar with the prices are. I've been searching for graphics cards, for the channel. Obviously, with the gaming channel, it's not going to get any better without more graphics cards. Could buy more CPUs, but, we would like more of the 3000 series cards as well as the RX 6000 cards from AMD. So, uh, this video is probably going to take a little while, but we've got to do our research here to determine how things are. Now, GT 1030, the very, pretty much the bottom of the barrel for graphics cards. These at one time, were $79. I believe I paid about $72 for my GT 1030 that I have for the channel. Prices are still more than double on these, right? So this one, I would stay away from this brand most likely, but 175. So these guys are about half of what they should be. So more than double. Now this doesn't really seem like it's dropped in price. So let's go look at a GTX 1050 Ti. I remember, back before COVID, these things were available anywhere from 129 to 149. eBay, you could get them even cheaper. Right now on eBay, you can pick these up for about 200. So 334 should be the lowest we'll find here. Can also check Newegg. Might as well check these guys. So you go over to Newegg, you might be able to get a better deal. I think this is probably a legit one from Newegg. 262. That's really not a bad price there at all. Yeah, no, all things considered, right? Last year at this time, totally another story. 259. Oh, I don't know if that shipping's based on where I am currently at, but yeah, so around the 260 mark. That seems to be a lot better price. Those were coming in at almost $400 from what I had seen in some places. So GTX 1650, gaming's starting to get a little better. Personally, in my opinion, at the 1650 Super mark is when gaming actually becomes enjoyable these days. So that's pretty good price. Why bother with the 1050 Ti? You can get the 1650. Some of this probably has to do with mining, to be honest with you. Between these cards, not that big a difference in how much money you'd make mining. Gaming wise, though, it's another story. So colorful. I'm not really that familiar with this brand. They want way too much to ship this. Probably coming from China. Or, maybe if you're in the US, like eventually I'll be back to the US, but that would be a pretty good price if you don't have to pay all that shipping. A lot of brands in here I've just never heard of. So that's what they have to offer. What do we say? This is 326. So 346 is probably about the most legit on here. If I jump over to Amazon, who no longer seems to be such a low price king, unless you're buying junk. 449, 376. Not too bad a price. Single fan. Not a big fan of single fans. So there you go. Now, is this price cheaper? Yes. This is cheaper than it was a couple weeks ago. Let's jump up to the Super. Now, Super mining wise, probably making $1 a day on that. So it's not really that great for mining. You can see it would take you quite a few days to get your return on investment. Gaming wise, now, if you've seen the channel recently, I did combine an i9 10900F with this. You know, Fortnite is a CPU intensive game, depending on the settings, and it really, paired up well with that. And I've kind of wondered, hey, spend the money on, uh, better graphics card or the CPU. If you're playing Fortnite, low settings, you might want to just get the best CPU you can get and worry about a graphics card later on. That's good. Get like 1650 Super now. Um, so these prices, honestly, they suck. Uh, 499 I would never pay this for a 1650 Super. Let's bump up to 1660. Now these cards not long ago were about 229 brand new. I got one used, this exact one, 159 on eBay. Um, it currently mines, trying to think, close to somewhere between 150 and $2 a day. I've got that mining back home. So not long, 60 days, I will have, no, excuse me, 75 days, I will have paid for it. So yeah, prices on the Supers not very good. Now yours truly almost picked up a 1660 Ti on here for 649. Why would I spend that money? Well, yeah, might have been crazy that day, but the fact is I don't have a 1660 Ti for the channel, and I figured I could also put it to work mining. But that's why that is. So 579 for this one. Ever so slight price drop, I'd say, on the 1660 Super. Not significant. So from here, folks, basically we're just going to go look at RTX cards, the ones we can find. A lot of RTX 2060s out there. Yeah, these prices suck, to be honest with you. If you saw the RTX 3060 for Prime Day, what that was actually available for, there's probably no way you would buy the 2060. So yours truly actually bought $599, I think it was, a RTX 2060 on Amazon less than a couple weeks ago. So yeah, this is not a good example of a change in price. Actually, let me jump over to Newegg. I'll come back to this. Let's see what the RTX 2060 goes for over here. $2060, $620, $600. So boom, this is cheaper than, oh no. Well, the shipping, somewhere in there I need to change the shipping from Africa to the US, but it would appear, folks, that you could get a 2060 for cheaper than what I just paid for it a couple weeks ago. Otherwise, they're, overall, these are much cheaper than they were a couple weeks back. So let's look at the Super. Supers cost $399 when they came out. And it's, at that time, it was probably the best deal for a graphics card. So, yeah, they're 3 times. And if you're mining with these, you're getting almost $3 a day. That fluctuates. Not really a good deal right now. $839. Some brand I probably never buy. $938. So not such a great price when you figure I'm probably not going to be able to find one in stock here, but the RTX 3060. We may have to jump over to Amazon. But one thing I did want to point out on here, there is one really good deal on here. And it is right here. Considering most of the places you're going to find this graphics card is at least $1,000. These guys for $12.99 free shipping give you a whole computer with Windows 10 on it. Now the i7-9700F, is it's okay. Would be comparative to an i5, say 10500. Does come with 16 gigs of RAM. That's at least a $50 deal there. At least a $50 deal on the SSD. The case, costs some money. So, to be honest with you, if you're really looking at RTX 3060, this is probably the one to get. Now, how good's the quality of the build and all that other stuff, and will it come, undamaged? I can't speak for that. But just on the surface, the components seem to be a pretty good deal for this. And if I was home, I probably actually would consider buying this, even though I have an i7-9700F for channel. This, might be of some use. Then there's this one over here. This one actually would be better for the gaming channel. All right, so let's go over to Amazon. So that's an example of prices have, come down. So over here, check this out, $942 in stock too, right? But just yesterday they were $899. There was one for $895. So is that, that great a deal? Yes, it is when you compare it to a couple weeks ago, where these either weren't in stock or they were all, over $1,000. Right? So not a massively significant price drop, but price drop all the same. And you'll see all these great prices on Newegg for 3060s, but none of them are in stock. So, all right, let's look at 3070. We do own a 3070, even though you have yet to see a single gaming video on the channel for it. It has not been mining. It is sitting in a box at home waiting for me. I did pay $600 for it. So how does that compare, to this? Obviously, that's at least 2 times more expensive than what I paid for it, 2.5. And probably, as these start to drop, probably would have been awesome had I been able to sell that, because I be able to get it for cheap. But that's another story. So 3070. Nothing really significant here. I guarantee if I go to Newegg, we won't see any. Maybe we'll be able to find a desktop build for it. $12.99. Wow. So that's a pretty good price there, folks. So I would say this one has dropped in price as well. Ryzen. So that's a $300 CPU, $50, $100, $150. So if you add all this up and subtract it from that, you're probably getting this graphics card cheaper than that price. And that seems like a pretty good price for this. I mean, it's overpriced, but it's a better price than it was a couple weeks ago. So yeah, 3070 seems to prices have come down ever so slightly for it. And then might as well put in the 3080. 3080s are still ridiculously expensive. Now, a lot of that obviously has to do with the mining aspect. They're still profitable. And then 3090 would be the same. So, yeah, folks, in general, prices have come down. Are they, significant? It's questionable. But if you were looking for an RTX 3060, you could have bought one the last couple days for $900. I would have got one, but it was saying it would take possibly as long to ship it here as it will for me to get out of here, right? So, thought about shipping it home. I get, I actually get the taxes waived here. That's another story. So it was way cheaper to have it sent here, even with a little bit of shipping cost, than it is, going back home. So I didn't get it. But you got to figure in the next few weeks, yours truly will probably pick one up. So now the RX 6700 XT AMD, I've been eyeing this too. These, some places you were able to get them a lot cheaper. But $999 is actually a little cheaper than I've seen recently. So there are probably none available over here. This is a graphics card I will add to the channel at some point. $985, $965. Like I said, never mind that shipping because that's coming to where I'm at. This needs to drop down a lot more before I will pull the trigger, but looks like there are some lower prices here. Is it, anything significant? Maybe 5%, maybe 10%. That's about it. Hey, thanks for checking out my video. Please like, please subscribe. Thank you.